Hello plant friends, this is Linda with Plants for You. Today I am bringing you a video of my, let's get you centered here so you can look at the plant and not at me. This is my Prince of Orange, Philodendron Prince of Orange, and I wanted to talk about her a little bit because I'm getting ready to repot her into a bigger pot. But I just wanted to bring some things to your attention. I know that I've heard people say, how do you get the leaves orange and yellow and get the color? Generally, this plant will start out with the brighter orange and yellow and almost lime green leaves, but as they get older, they turn dark. They get this beautiful burgundy, and they go from that to green. But this is the one I want to show you right here. So there's almost always some color, or I should say variation of color on her. And what I like about the Prince of Orange is she's not a viney plant. Although I love vining plants, don't get me wrong. But this plant in particular is not a naturally vining plant. She grows usually straight up. But in my case, right now, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't stake them from the time they're younger. I am going to still try to stake her up. But her stem here is, you can see she's flat on one side. And if I turn her, you can see she really doesn't, she has leaves on this side, a couple, but not as many as around the whole plant. And the reason that happened is because where I had her, I didn't see that this was going on. I've got her behind my sofa on that beautiful table that my husband made under my Mars Hydro light. And that table is I've got so many plants on it. Well, not so many, but I've got a lot of plants on there. Plants that really thrive in very bright light. And when I first got this plant, I got her from Logi's. And it was, I believe I paid $29 for it. And I also ordered another plant, Rojo Congo or Congo Rojo. I ordered 2 plants that day, and it was winter. It got stuck in the mail, and when they arrived, they were pretty much dead. I'm shocked that this plant is still thriving. The other one I lost. I tried and tried and tried to bring her back to life, but that was just not going to happen. But she survived, and boy, did she survive. Look at how beautiful she is. I love this plant. Now, I could continue to leave her in this pot, and I could continue to, or I could put her in a bigger pot and let her continue to grow sideways, but I don't want to do that. I'm so glad I caught this when I did. I'm going to be repotting her and putting her in a upright position and staking her to that, and hope that she will fill out on this other side here so that she's well rounded and someday will become a floor plant. I don't have a lot of room for big huge plants, so in the beginning I didn't put her in that real bright light because honestly I didn't want her to grow real big real fast. I wanted to enjoy her growth, and like I said, you know, the more light you give them, the brighter, the faster they grow, the bigger the leaves get. So that's my story with this plant. That's why I did things the way I did. One of the things on this plant to be aware of is sometimes when the new leaves come out, they have a little curling on them. That, to me, has been proven to be normal. And I say for me because I'm not an expert and there may be another reason for it, but I have noticed that all of my plants start out that way, and then they straighten out when the leaves get big. They straighten out and they're fine. You see a little water on here. I did just wash her up, and I also sprayed her with my Captain Jack spray, and I did that because I'm just at the end of a thrips infestation, and I want to make sure that there is nothing left on her. So that's what you're looking at. But as far as soil and water, through my research, every site that I came across said she likes to be kept very moist. And once again, I can tell you that is not what's happening in my house. She was bone dry for a couple of days at least, maybe even a week, before I watered her. Now I did lose a couple leaves on the bottom, and that was due to lack of water, so that will happen. But she's a pretty strong survivor. She doesn't wilt and go crazy when she needs water. But I'm afraid that she could be watered overwatered very easily because of the thickness of her leaves and stems. I'm sure she's holding water in there. So I would rather err on the side of underwatering than overwatering. Her soil, same soil I use for almost every one of my plants. Just the Leapfrog or Happy Frog, whatever that brand is. And I do have other brands that I buy. I do get black gold now and then. Whatever they have available. I have 2 or 3 types that I switch off with. And then I add to that about 1/3 perlite to 2/3 soil. Now, I can tell by looking at this soil right now that I don't have that combination in here. There is some perlite in here, but not as much as I normally have. And the reason I know that is because normally that perlite likes to float to the top, and I don't have that going on in the soil. So I think when I repot her, I'm not going to add the extra perlite this time. I think I'm just going to use what I have in there, and I am going to add some cocoa coir and worm castings. And I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to put anything else in there. You could use vermiculite. That would be a good choice for this plant because vermiculite is a water retention material. It's a spongy type. If you feel it, I don't know how to describe it, but you can squeeze it. It's squishy, and it holds water. So you can. The fact that it's a particle that doesn't dissolve will help to aerate the soil while still hanging on to some of the moisture because it will retain that moisture in that little piece. So you could use that for this plant. I have some vermiculite, but it's buried in my winter storage for my plant stuff, so I'm not going to dig that out right now, and I'm probably not going to use it either. I'm just going to go ahead and repot her in the soil that I already have mixed, and once I get her out of here and see what her roots look like, then I will know what I'm going to do as far as a bigger pot. I also have her in a plastic pot so that she doesn't dry out too fast, and again I have her under the Mars Hydrolite. One of the things I wanted to talk about with that Mars Hydrolite is the reason I got her is because I got a few plants or I had a few plants that were just not, they weren't performing the way I wanted them to. And one was my Salome. And I almost actually lost that. And I think I have a video on that somewhere way back when. And I wanted her to have the best possible conditions. So I put her up on that table. Along with a few other plants that need very, very high light. And this is one of them. However, the Salome and the other plants that I have on there kind of shade her just a little bit from that light. So she's in a spot where she's getting extremely bright light, but it's not directly over her leaves. So if you were going to put her in your living room or your dining room or your bedroom or wherever, I would suggest putting her in a south window, but pulling it away from the window. I don't think she'll do well if you put her in direct sunlight. I'm afraid that her leaves would burn and the color would fade a lot quicker. So that would be my suggestion if you have one of these and they're small, or if you have one that you're having trouble with. That's probably your best bet. And as far as watering, like I said, I myself, I let her get dry, pretty dry, before I water her. I can honestly tell you that I have let her dry out this whole pot and not had any negative ramifications for it. But the more often that you water her, the faster she's going to grow. So if you're looking to get your Prince of Orange to look like the King of Orange, or for lack of a better term, if you want it to grow faster, then yes, you want to make sure that you give it water more often than I do. But she's still beautiful, and I can enjoy her as she's growing with each new leaf. And again, like I said, I can leave her in here, and I don't know what she's going to end up doing because she's going to fall over. But I'm not going to. I'm going to stake this up because she's going to grow straight up. And propagation, I know I have not yet propagated this, but I know that you can do it just by, like any other plant. And let me turn it this way so you can see this. You would want to do it where there's a node. So like right here, I've got leaves coming out. This is the sheathing. So probably right under here, wherever this node is, if you can see that, you can feel it in there. So underneath that, maybe down to this next leaf is probably where I would cut it, like right here. And then I would put that in soil or water. Yeah, I think they root pretty fast, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I haven't done that yet, so I can't really say for sure. And if somebody has done that and they want to add to my in my comments and give someone some helpful advice on that, you're more than welcome to do so. I think that's all I have to say about her right now. I'm not going to repot her on camera because I'm not going to do it right now. So if I decide to do it on camera, I guess, well, I probably won't, let's put it that way. And part of the reason it's going to be very cumbersome, and I might need somebody else's help to hold this up and help me get it out so I don't snap this off from the root system. That's really what I'm worried about right now. And I have limited use of my arm here, so it's hard to do with 1.5 arms. So that's why, otherwise I would definitely do it for you. But okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope I helped somebody that is growing this plant. And if you don't already have this plant, I have seen them on the internet for very inexpensive. They've come way down in price. And it's such a showstopper. I mean, it's well worth the money. And the color is just, it's fantastic. I wish I had some yellow leaves on here and the real orange ones. And maybe I'll do a follow-up on this when that happens. Because it's just stunning. It really, truly is. Alright. Well, you all have a great Mother's Day. Today is Mother's Day. And I hope that you all have a good one. And the sun is shining by us. It was supposed to be cloudy all day. But you know, every Mother's Day this happens and the sun ends up coming out. So I just am very grateful for that. Alright. Well, have a great day and thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you. Have a good day. Bye now.